On average, you'll have to wait 31 days to see an OBGYN. And if you're dealing with an infection or outbreak, you know you need care fast. That's where Wisp comes in. Connect with a U.S. licensed provider online and pick up safe, effective treatment at your local pharmacy that same day. Plus, get birth control and more delivered in all 50 states. Take control with comprehensive sexual and reproductive care, all from your phone. Wisp. That's hellowisp.com. The waiting room can wait.
Robert has limited time today, which is usually the case with me. And we spent about 10 minutes just shooting the shit. And then we decided, oh, we better record and talk about all the things that there aren't to talk about. Wait, bad grammar shit. Whenever I hear the ding, 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 as Jules Sparkles like to say, that's when I know it's time to come in to introduce my podcast boyfriend, who I guess he has a real life boyfriend now, we found out the very last seconds of RulaskaThoughts doesn't even know Robert does a podcast. Does he know yet?
Not yet. It just hasn't come up because he doesn't like Drag Race.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like the one thing we don't have in common.
Okay,
actually.
So this is what we've learned. Your boyfriend doesn't like magic.
Mm-hmm.
Your boyfriend doesn't like Drag Race.
No.
What does your boyfriend like?
Me.
But I guess my bigger question is this. What would be the deal breaker that if he didn't like this, you'd be like, okay, I don't know if I could do this?
That's a great question because my last ex and I had very little in common. You know, like we were able to be like active together, but we just didn't have the same resting state. And that was, not having things in common made life difficult. Whereas Nick and I have like everything in common except for Drag Race. So
Pokemon?
Even if we did, no, yeah. No, I got him into the trading card, little phone game that I've been playing for the last few months, and we talk about it every day. No, I'm pretty flexible about that stuff because I grew up not really sharing my interests with other people, so I've never really needed my romantic partner to have it. But now I do, so it's great. I don't know what a deal breaker would be, though. I just dealt with it in past relationships.
When I usually ask this question, it's tongue-in-cheek, I would say mostly joking. But this one, I'm very curious because I want to know how it happened. Does he know I exist?
I think I've mentioned my friend Joe before.
Oh, because I was going to say, wouldn't he be like, well, how do you know this person? But I guess you don't really get to that stage until you meet them or something.
I think I've referenced pieces of conversations we had on the podcast. I just said, I was talking with my friend Joe. Or Robert, why do you want to go to the Magic Castle for a date? And I'll be like, oh, my friend Joe has access and I have a pass as well. So you've definitely come up. Yeah. Worry not, darling.
No, I'm not worried about it. Usually I'm just as a joke, but this one I was like, well, he might be like, well, how do you know this Joe person? Maybe not. Like, you don't get to that stage unless it kept coming up all the time, and you'd be like, okay,
I met
who
him
is
at
this
Blue
person?
Collar while I was getting drinks with my college friend who I moved to LA with after we studied abroad together, and then we didn't meet for another 7 or 8 years, and then we do a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Through my other friend who I grew up with since I was 7, but we didn't like each other until after high school. Yeah.
Do you think he would listen to the show?
Maybe because I do have some people who listen just because they like to hear me say stupid Robertisms, who don't really care for Drag Race. But also the thing is, like, so many people who were into Drag Race, 10 years ago when it was some of the only queer content we had, they've fallen off the wagon. Whereas, as I just mentioned, I'm still playing fucking Pokemon like I'm still a 5-year-old. So I don't tend to fall off wagons. I'm still here.
I wonder if I would have fallen off the wagon had I not started a podcast about it.
Well, you don't seem to have any inherent passion for the actual content of the drag anymore.
The lack of the passion came from the podcast.
Okay, seeing it in a different way.
Yeah, like I remember season 6, a season before I started the podcast. I mean, I would get together with my cousin Natalie and Richard, and we'd make a potluck, and we get together. It was appointment television. We'd watch it. That's because, granted, this is so old school. Natalie was the only one whose cable company had logo. So we'd go to her house to watch it. Thank you.
Speaking of spin, I've been recommended Mid-Century Modern 3 times this weekend alone. Have you seen it?
Mid-Century Modern, the movement?
The TV show, not the
I've never heard of this.
Interior decor style. It's a show with Matt Bomer and Nathan Lane, who I always confuse with Nathan Fielder, and the gay black guy from Hitch. And probably other
I know
things,
about
but that's
this.
what I remember him
Don't
from.
get me started on this.
Well, it's, you love Golden Girls.
Don't ever insult the Golden Girls by calling this show the Golden Girls.
But the pitch of the show was let's do Golden Girls, but with gays.
Well, I'll give you some tea. Oh my God. Okay. Again, listeners of the show will know who I'm talking about. But a friend of mine worked at a network, and there was a pilot, a famous pilot, that had. It was supposed to also be. It wasn't so gay. It was going to be a straight version, kind of ish, of the Golden Girls, and it was with Alec Mapa. It was with Alec Mapa, but that's not that's not the selling point. That was not the selling point. It was with Alec Baldwin, Nathan. Was it Nathan Lane? It was Alec Baldwin. Who were the 3 friends? It was Alec Mapa, Alec Baldwin, and it might have been Nathan Lane. It was this pilot, right?
Okay.
And it didn't get picked up. Oh, no. It wasn't. So, okay, no. It wasn't Nathan Lane. It was Alec Baldwin, another big star who I can't remember, but in that same age group, and Alec Mapa. And this pilot didn't get picked up. And I told this friend, I said, listen, that seems weird because Kelsey Grammer. It was Alec Baldwin, Kelsey Grammer, and Alec Mapa, right?
Why is Kelsey Grammer a household name? Like I only know him
Cheers
as the
and
Beast
Frasier
from
were big
X-Men.
hits. So
we just talked about that, right?
So anyway, the pilot didn't get picked up. It didn't even get an order for like 6 episodes. I'm like, how are you having a pilot with these 2 TV stars with big track records?
Mm-hmm.
Not even getting like a half order, not even a half season, right? And like, oh, you didn't see the pilot, right? So I managed to see the pilot. It was horrible. Did I say?
Yes, and I was about to joke about the fact that every time you go on a story about saying my friend who worked in TV, girl, we all know.
No, I know, but I don't want to say
it's always about saying.
Yeah, but you have to
bleep that too.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. So anyway, he managed to get me a pilot. I watched it. It was horrible. Well, the other tea that I'm going to tell you is the Alec Mapa role was supposed to be Nathan Lane. The original pitch was Nathan Lane, Kelsey Grammer, Alec Baldwin. Right?
Okay.
But the network
visually
was like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, the network was like, you can't have 3 white guys. We need a person of color. So they had to kick out Nathan Lane and bring in Alec Mapa. They didn't even change the way they wrote the character. So it was Alec Mapa essentially doing an impression of Nathan Lane.
Which is, it kind of seems like he goes around his life like that.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
I don't know him that well. I've only seen him in short stints.
So
surprised at his longevity, though.
It was horrible. This Alec Baldwin was phoning it in like nobody's business. He couldn't care less to be there. It was terrible. All that to say is like, look, the Golden Girls themselves were just a very special, magical, weird, perfect thing that happened. Robert and I were having a grammar conversation before, and like the way people use words, we don't like them. Perfect storm is a good one. People sometimes use perfect storm as like a positive thing. It's a negative.
Do you know what's an impossible one? And I couldn't even tell you the answer, even though I'm thinking about it and realize I could just Google it.
What?
What the fuck does nonplussed mean?
I think nonplussed is that you are like, I want to say you're at a loss for words. Am I wrong? Let's ask Diego.
Or is it the complete opposite?
I don't know. Let's see here. We're going to ask Diego. Hey, Diego, I have a question.
What's up, Joe?
What's the definition of nonplussed?
Nonplussed usually means being so surprised or confused that you're unsure how to react. It's like being caught off guard and not knowing what to say or do.
Thank you.
I feel that people
Anytime.
use it in the opposite definition oftentimes.
Yeah.
So I'm nonplussed about what the fuck people mean when they say nonplussed. I'm like, I don't know if I can trust what you know what you're saying.
We haven't talked one lick about this drag race. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, because I do have some thoughts I want to pick away with Robert's brain here about drag race. We'll be back
I
right
have
after
some stuff, yeah.
this.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
And we are back. Now, I have a whole other podcast where I give my thoughts and go on and on and on and on about the show. But we have yet to hear what Robert thought about this episode. So before we get into any deep topics, anything else, let's ask Robert, our smart expert, what he thought of the episode.
It was your standard semifinal episode where there's no inherent drama. There's a bit of a squeaking wheel of ending momentum. It was a dry episode. Yes, you can say it. Say it, Joe.
It was almost like my vagina.
Exactly. Oh, to pivot really quick, just since we're on that topic, I want to clarify that I did not say that all of Dr. Helen Schaefer's Gray's, many life experiences were the result of her niece. It was just the dry vagina monologue that was the result of her niece.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think Dr. Schaefer Gray is a woman of so many experiences. She reminds me of this
I'm sorry. I just want to get into this. I'm not lying when I say I just think she's just reading it and she doesn't know what she's saying. And that Blackstone is just having a big fucking laugh with him and his faggot friends. He just gives her whatever to read and she reads it.
Maybe. So it reminds me of this I don't know if anyone will get this reference. I'm sorry to sound like Suzanne, but there's this character named Maya Schrodinger in this JRPG that I loved to play as a kid. And she starts as this brassy, sassy character who's like in your face and is constantly a rival to the protagonist. And then as the story goes on, she starts to embody different personas. And then towards the end of her character arc, you learn that she actually was not that sassy, brassy character. She was not the magic witch girl. She was not the ninja girl. In fact, she has so little sense of self-confidence and identity that she's something of a magical template where any book she reads, she embodies all the character traits of what she's reading about, which hence the name Maya Schrodinger.
Oh,
so I think possibly Dr. Helen Schaefer Gray, to psychoanalyze her, just lacks a sense of central identity, and that's why she has watched these movies and plays, and she really does think that she was the character living through those lives. That's my read on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense because she said she died.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert. So,
Oh, interesting. I'm literally going to have to take that out or people will be very upset.
I did not reference who it was.
I don't know this show. I don't want people upset. I'm just going to bleep it.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Death is never that permanent in fiction. And I think Dr. Helen Schaefer Gray knows that.
Anyway.
Just like a comic book character.
Roberto, you were talking about the episode.
Yeah. Standard stuff, really. I don't think anyone's surprised that the last competitive episode is a bit of a bore. And having just experienced the Vegas live show,
right.
I just what I think I said that my least favorite part of it was those big glitzy group numbers that are kind of soulless and empty and stupid as fuck. But this gift shop song, why are you going to try to?
Was it in the show when you saw it?
Not that I recall,
okay.
But as I said, it had been a long day in Vegas at that point, so I don't remember every minute detail of the night,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that song, but maybe it did happen. It certainly wasn't memorable either way. I don't know why they're trying to convince me to hop on a plane and go to Vegas and then spend another $150 on a ticket to go see that kind of shit. What? That's not the way you sell the Vegas show. And similarly, I didn't understand why any of the advertisements that the girls were challenged to create, all of them were winky, like, hey, this is actually a sex work night and you're going to get your dick sucked. What was that?
Girl, that's this show.
Yes, like we always go to the vulgar, but it didn't make sense in this specific context. None of those ads told me what the Drag Race live show is at all. And they were also horribly done. Like Jules was so bad. I don't know why.
The live video one or the photo shoot one?
I guess it was a live video. Their little 15, 20-second advertisement saying, hey, come go watch Drag Race live.
And then talking about where like every single one with like the pit crew comes and fucks them.
I don't really mind that because that's just a photo shoot,
Yeah.
It was just weird. It was
they're never good.
A concept.
Not to, I'm going to use, an eponymous comment here, but a lot of these episodes in this position seem like an afterthought where they seem like they're like, well, we got these people, whatever, let's just do something. They're going to, because it wasn't even like, and it wasn't even promised, was it, that they would actually be featured in the Vegas show or anything like that, right? It was just
and I did notice that they cut away from Rue when she said that, and they also were not showing anyone on the runway, so there is the slightest of chances that wasn't even the prize given out that day, and they added it in post.
What was the prize given out?
I don't know. Congrats, Jules, you win. Am I saying that this is like a conspiracy? No, I noticed that they cut away, and usually that's done for a reason.
Oh, you mean from the evil corporation? Wow,
the overlords,
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that maybe in terms of legality, they didn't have the rights to say and offer to the winner of the challenge at that time, "Hey, you won," so they can't make a verbal binding agreement. And later, once those things cleared, then they're able to add it in. Maybe. Again, does it matter? Not in the least. But Vegas has been the through line between this whole season for. They sponsored the Badunkadunk tank. We've done this audition challenge, which hardly felt like an audition.
No, it didn't feel like an audition at all. Because even the DragCon ones kind of felt like a little bit of an audition where like you were auditioning to have your own panel at DragCon.
For sure.
But these didn't. It just felt like, I don't even know what it really felt like. You were doing a commercial for it. It wasn't even like, because they have done a Drag Race live audition type of thing, right? Where you're going to be like in a group number or something. I feel like I have a memory of this.
Well, in season 12, the semifinal challenge was, or for the final competitive episode was them doing the numbers that would eventually go onto the Vegas live show.
Oh, okay. Which you just reminded me. You're one of the people to ask. There was the whole, not comebacks of all comebacks, a Sam Starr statement of like rebound of all rebounds. What are some of the more iconic rebounds in Drag Race history? Someone brought up a good one that Diabetes that went home on that first episode when they brought her back,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
went all the way to the finale.
I will say that is not a storyline that they've tapped very often. Like we get a lot like people being edged for wins and then finally getting a win, and then I'd say that's a more common storyline that we get. Whereas I'm trying to think of someone I think we also get someone who is in the bottom and then wins that week. That's a frequent thing, but it's never really like held up as the comeback.
Someone mentioned Bimini, but I didn't know what it referenced.
Bimini was in the bottom 2 in the first episode of UK2, and then three or four more episodes went by, and Lawrence won almost all of them. And then the COVID broke, and then when they came back, Bimini won almost, if not every challenge.
That is a good one.
Yeah, no, it was an all-star glow up, not just with Sister's teeth, but also with Bimini's like mindset and performance.
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah,
that is
that
a good
one. Makes more sense.
I'd say, yeah.
Because even Diabetes, I don't know what her track record was after that one loss. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything,
I believe she had one win, maybe.
Okay. And then, but like losing a bunch and then coming back and winning a bunch is sort of a rebound of all rebounds. All right. Well, very good.
And also, I agree with Nathan that Trixie coming back and doing what she did after a pretty unremarkable season 7 run was in itself the comeback story.
She had an unremarkable All-Stars 3 run.
She did.
Don't get me started.
I wish
on
Angela wasn't such
rant.
an awful, horrible person, because that would also be a good rebound.
And then Ben quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was every time I think of Trixie and All-Stars 3, I think of that horrible Bachelor parody.
And they kept telling her that she should have won that if not for Milk.
Oh, that's right.
She wasn't anywhere near Kennedy and Dayla.
No, it was horrible. She had her prefabricated joke. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I'm starting to see the very beginnings of the cracks. I can't say for Trixie, but definitely in Katya. Like I just saw this video of Katya with a very puffy looking Courtney Act. They're both out of drag. And Courtney says, say R and R. And then Katya goes, R and R. She goes, you see, you just said R and R. And Katya lost her fucking mind. As if that was the funniest fucking thing she had ever heard in her entire life. And I feel that's always Katya. She's always like just laughing hysterically at nothing. And she was in some controversy. People are mad at her. Why do I feel it was about smoking or something like that? I don't know what it was. And I'm like, I think am I wrong that they're starting to seem like your grandma's favorite drag queen? Like those little teenage girls and boys that liked them when they were 13 and now it's been 10 years. They're in their mid-20s. And the younger people who like the show are like, what? Am I wrong? I don't know.
I wonder.
They've never done it for me, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, we're always playing with fire when it comes to a critique of Trixie and Katya, which you know very well.
Yeah.
But to me, at season 7, I've always loved Katya, to be clear. I don't particularly vibe with Trixie. She's never made me laugh, for instance, but I don't dislike her either. She's just there. But in season 7, it's funny that you say they're your grandma's favorite drag queens, because at that time they were the beginning of like the rabid teen girl fan base boogeyman.
100%.
So at the time they were a symbol of Drag Race moving away from a show for gay men and more to get the Instagram girlies on board.
100%.
And the Tumblr appeal, if you would. And so I guess now to think 10 years later they're not the shining stars of the franchise anymore. I mean, that obviously that was going to happen. I don't know who would be then, but also, again, another pivot. Sorry, what a crazy run-on sentence. Trixie and Katya have both taken very public hiatuses because they both struggle with mental health in different ways, and Katya has, drug issues as well. So I would say I saw the cracks in their supposed flawless drag personas many years ago because they've been open about sharing them.
Well, look, One of the things Robert and I have in common is that we were both at the season 8 finale.
Oh, that opener.
And they had Trixie and Katya host the pre-show. It was horrible.
It was not good.
I don't even think you can see it. I think they only show the numbers. They don't show the hosting of it.
This was right before they got the TV show, I'm assuming. Like that YouTube show, I think was just starting to get popular, if I recall.
No, it wasn't, because it hadn't happened yet. Because I know this because this wasn't people, I think World of Wonder still liked us or whatever. The World of Wonder sent us a link for to watch all the episodes of before it premiered.
Okay.
And so Evan watched it for us, and I think he didn't come on till like season 9 or 10.
I see.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, yeah. So that format was not enjoyable for the season 8 audience, especially when half of us had to go pee already.
Yeah, it was horrible. And I don't know. I think Trixie's done a great job with her career. I admire it, and everything she's done with that. I just don't know if she's necessarily a drag queen for me. She's more, and we don't see that many of these, but like a digital drag queen. I don't know if her live. I know she does the music, and this is something that the Trixie stands is all talk about. I don't know, like. I remember, like, do you remember that when the Barbie movie came out and the soundtrack came out, people, the fans were just horrified that they didn't ask Trixie Mattel to be on the soundtrack I'm like, you guys are so misguided here.
Their world is very small, I think.
Well, they think, I was actually thinking about this actually on the drive back here from work, is because I was listening to the show and the reference of Taylor and Nathan thinking that World of Wonder is like this giant multinational entertainment conglomerate that controls the media. And I was like, World of Wonder is a tiny production company who has one hit show that's a reality show. Again, and I know the fans hate to hear this. It's something we're passionate about, we watch, and it's culturally important, but the ratings aren't that great, everybody. Like, I tell you, go look at the ratings, the comparisons to everybody. And there's some show that I've never heard of, ever. I think it's called like Gold Rush or something like that.
Is that the Yellowstone prequel?
No, I don't know what it is. No, this has been around for a while. I don't know how long this is. Because whenever I would look up the ratings for Drag Race, it would be like, okay, and like it would always be the show Gold Rush or something like that like always like did just a hair better than Drag Race. I'm like, I've never even heard of this show. Like, I've even seen like when Reddit has comments on episodes from this season, they'll be like, this is the one to send to the Emmy nominations to win their Emmy back. I'm like, girl, dude, nobody's watching these episodes that they send.
Why do you take so much umbrage at the things people say on Reddit? Because every single thread about Drag Race is going to be some dumbass saying, this is the queer art Megami was talking about protecting, and it's going to be the most upvoted comment, even though it's been said 10 billion times in the last year. God damn it. I
think it's because I am constant, and you made a comment about this last week, and it's so true, is like, I think there was a time, maybe back in 2012 or something, where I was like, oh, Reddit is kind of on the pulse of what everyone is thinking and talking about in the zeitgeist, And now that's just no longer the case. And it's weird that this is like this place where it's just a lot of really dumb people, like incredibly stupid. Like, I'm not even saying like, oh, you have to be like super savvy or anything like that, but like, what?
I think if you ever go onto any reasonably niche subreddit, like for instance, let's say you go on the White Lotus subreddit because you're curious to see what other people are saying, you could have sworn you would think that these people have never seen a single TV show. Like they have no idea how narratives work. They have no idea how character development works. They say the most obvious scenes, like it's, exploding in front of your face that the father keeps taking lorazepam, and then the top comments like, I think that dad might be a little fucked up on lorazepam. I'm like they saw something special in a very blatantly obvious scene. I'm like, you guys are stupid. You guys are dumb. But that's fine.
100%. That's why I'm like, look, the Emmy one is not a good one to use because, they live in a world where they think the Emmy voters are like watching everything that comes before them and really like carefully evaluating who's going to win best reality host or whatever, right? But there was something that they say just within the show, where I'm just like, are you an idiot? Where they'll be like, well, let's just hope Honey Mahogany never hears about this because then she's going to call RuPaul and get angry. I'm like, what?
I'd love to get Honey Mahogany on the call, actually.
I think we can get Honey Mahogany. I think
she was one of the first Drag Race girls I met, like back in 2012.
Oh, you met her?
Mm-hmm. In San Francisco. Where the look does kind of matter, but I do know what she was saying in that Untucked where everyone was talking shit on her.
Let's go back to the episode. Any thoughts?
Speaking about the return of older queens, Latrice was back, and
Why?
she didn't seem to have as big of a chip on her shoulder as she did in All Stars 4. I hope that we continue to see a happier, more content version of Latrice. I miss liking and loving Latrice,
I just feel like, why her?
Great question, because that actually leads me to this point. RuPaul said, fuck y'all, none of you are getting a podcast moment or a Tic Tac lunch this season.
Yeah, she's done.
So I guess Latrice I think she was a cast member on the Vegas show, so I guess she's equipped to do it, but they should have had Asia O'Hara do it. I think.
Oh, that was she was supposed to be a representative of the Vegas show? Oh,
I think at least
didn't
in part,
even
right?
get that. Oh my God, yes. I didn't even make that connection. Cause like, why Latrice Royale? Yes, she would have been, Asia O'Hara would have been a really good one. Who else is in the Vegas show regularly? Oh, you know what? Chanel would have done a good job.
No, do you remember the season 1 interview challenge?
Well, no.
Was pregnancy everything that you expected? Or is it what you didn't expect it? Or did you ever even expect it at all?
Hold on for a second. Now we're going to a different thing. Like, if I'm being honest with you, that's why I would book Chanel. One. It's also why I would find and try and track down who was the one that interviewed Cher's mom. What's her name?
Jocelyn Fox.
Oh, God.
We do need to hear about abortion questions. And I think we need Adora Delano here so that we talk about the next Great Recession. She can just say, oh, party. That sounds so cool.
Yeah. That you get people who are iconically bad at the interviews. And like, Latrice Royale was just boring and bad and just reading from a car and didn't care.
Well, and may I say this, because I've never had the opportunity to say this in all my gay life. What is the appeal of Get Those Nuts Away From My Face? It has never been funny to me. Like when that douchey ass producer guy was like, "Oh, that's a series." What?
Yeah, what's the series, Max Muchnick?
A series of bad choices. Like I'm tired of hearing it.
He's another one. Like he had one hit show. Let me see. I feel like he was a writer on a show or something like that. But like he's had
Will and
bomb
Grace,
after
right?
bomb. Yeah, Will and Grace is his big one. But like he's had bomb after bomb after bomb. Like so many bombs. Like how many chances do you get? Let me see here. Let's see here. So he's known for, look at, here we go. Mid-Century Modern, he did, your favorite show. Will and Grace.
Well, I will report back there as well.
Will and Grace. Clipped, Partners, Shit My Dad Says.
On YouTube? Remember that trend?
Four Kings, Twins, Good Morning Miami. Oh, he did do the show Boston Comments. He went for a few seasons. Oh, no, he was only a writer on Dream On. Yeah, guys.
The Aerosmith song?
No, it was like, so Dream On is strangely important in the history of television, even though it's not that significant, but it was like one of the first shows that HBO, when HBO was just showing movies, when they decided to get into making content, it was one of in that first slate of shows that they did. And it was like a dirty, like, not a sitcom like a 3-camera, but like a single camera, like dirty sitcom. I don't remember what it was about. You know, they cussed and stuff like that. I think it was like a moderate hit for HBO, but it ushered in what would then become the golden era of, 16 Under
TV.
and Sopranos and Game of Thrones and all that. So Sex and the City, you're right. Yeah. So, interesting. And, but yeah, he's had that one hit show, which, I mean, so corny, you know?
Well, I haven't watched much of Will and Grace, the original, and I didn't see any of the reboot, even though I do find Brian Jordan Alvarez funny. Although I think he also had sexual assault allegations recently.
He did, big time. We talked about it in the show.
What a mess. But
somehow I will say he squeaked by. I think the network probably very wisely was like, it's a niche group of people know about this.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, English Teacher was also a niche experience. Another show that Trixie was on, actually.
Yeah.
I actually did enjoy her in that show more than I've ever enjoyed her on Drag Race.
I haven't seen that show. But the point is that, how do we get on this?
Girl, who the fuck knows?
Oh, Latrice Royale.
Latrice, the interview, no Tic Tac lunch.
I want to talk about, like, because I've been thinking about this more and more, is I still don't understand how Suzy cannot grasp the concept of Las Vegas.
No, showgirls have been around since forever.
Yeah, and how did she just not get that?
Because she's so convinced of her own genius that she truly thinks that anytime she doesn't understand a concept, it means that she is the one misunderstood. And I still like Suzy. I realize I've been a bit harsh on her the last few weeks once her overconfidence has started to become the storyline. Mm-hmm. Like, she's young and she's going to figure this shit out, and, you know, ideally anytime soon, or sometime soon. But as of now, I'm just like, they're right. And you were right. She simply doesn't have the range to be America's Next Drag Superstar, because the flapper aesthetic is a rather limited one, and she hasn't been particularly progressive with it. So in essence, she's not even really doing anything terribly smart, except showing that she's well-read and learned, except she's just recreating new looks. She's not making fashion-forward flapper. She's not modernizing the flapper aesthetic. She's just doing it. She's doing it well, though.
Yeah, but it's one of these things where it's so niche. It's like, okay, well, once we've seen it, we've seen it.
It's not even that niche. I went to the reason I met my mom's house is because I was at a birthday party on Saturday for my cousin, and the whole theme was roaring 20s flapper. Let's listen to Will You Still Love Me When I'm Still Young and Beautiful, or whatever. I've been surrounded by Suzy Toot all weekend aesthetically.
But then you guys moved on with your life, and you're not going to have another party that's going to be flapper themed.
I would think not, but it's a common theme. Like, it actually has been kind of bugging me all season that she calls herself super unique and niche and obscure. And it's like, girl, 20 flappers are very much an iconic visual reference. Like, it's not like you uncovered some, the Dead Sea Scrolls or anything.
Well, it's another thing too, is like she's often compared to Jinkx, because I think that's what she strives for. But who kind of kisses it but gives herself the range to do more is Tammy Brown.
Yeah,
Tammy Brown doesn't do a flapper or a 20s aesthetic, but it's in that old timey sort of homage, vintage, novelty song kind of area.
No, you wouldn't be surprised about Tammy doing any kind of a period look, because that is her general range of references.
But she hasn't pinned herself specifically to the 20s. She could do the 20s, and you would be like, oh yeah, of course Tammy Brown does
precisely. But if Suzy did a 60s mod look, we'd all be like scratching our heads a bit, being like, since when are you into people of that era, mama?
Yeah. And also, like I said, like I think she wants to be thought of like a Jinkx Monsoon and multi-talented, but Jinkx, where it kind of mattered, showed she had some range, especially in terms, like, in other words, she's killing the snatch game. She's doing well in the acting challenge. She's doing, and I don't think that Suzy really delivered on those things. She thinks she delivered. It's kind of like I'm just, brainstorming here a little bit, or just free thinking.
Shooting the shit.
Is like, there's a person who, I'm just saying a person that I know. It's just like, I'm just a made up person. But there are people who they're the hottest person in their town. And then they go to Los Angeles thinking, well, I'm the hottest fucking thing in Poughkeepsie.
Chattanooga?
Yeah, in Chattanooga. And then they go and they like realize like, oh shit, there are fucking goddamn fucking beautiful people everywhere, you know? And I think that's the case with Suzy too. She's probably like the funny, unique person in Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on Drag Race and she gets in, and I get it. But it's like, yeah, it's like, what else you got?
I think that could have been an excuse 15 years ago, but with how popular and globalized Drag Race has become and how not everyone, but so many of us consume so much of it, and, you know, in the era of digital drag as well, it's just, how could your worldview be so limited? And to think that she would continually be at the top of the heap on the show.
Because I think she thinks I'm like Jinkx. That's what
I'm trying to figure out a way to get you to talk shit on how much you hate Plasma, because she's in the same circle of this concept.
Oh, God. No, I wouldn't talk about Plasma. First of all, I forgot she existed, which is not a good thing, right?
She was just on that video with Liza Minnelli. Or no, sorry, that was Patti LuPone, right?
Oh,
I'm mixing up videos.
Yeah. There was something going on where Patti LuPone read Drag Race quotes, but still, like, it was very apparent she had no idea what she was saying. She was just saying words.
She's Dr. Schaefer Grey.
Patti LuPone is 100% Helen Schaefer Grey. She had words thrown in front of her, and people were like going crazy. She was just like, "Get those nuts away from my face."
Don't piss me off, girl.
Going back to that, I will say, look.
Why is it funny?
First watch, I was like, okay, she's doing that very sitcom thing. It's kind of funny in that 1 minute. It should never have been a thing after that.
It was like kind of like also I've complained about this one. Any hole is a goal. I loved Aquaria's Melania Trump. I don't think that was the funniest part of it, and I don't think that it should be applied as liberally to every possible fucking scenario as it is. You know, it annoys me.
The show is like Lori. Lori doesn't know why she's funny. When Lori tries to be funny, it fails miserably, right? But when she's just being Lori, then it's classic, you know? So what I mean is, Lori would think that, like, get these nuts away from my face, or any hole is a goal is the funniest thing. Forgetting, like, in that same episode with get those nuts away from my face, like, to me, smell. It's like, did you say Beaver? Or ew? Or
ooh, you did a good. That was a good one,
the
girl.
Smell. Wait, what'd I do?
That was a good ew. You did a really good job there. Come on,
you.
Fucking perfect pitch.
Anything Kenya Michaels is, I'm dead. I love
like
it.
La Trans Bear.
Yeah. Anything. I almost kind of want to rewatch season 4 just for Kenya Michaels.
I'd be into it because Kenya Michaels that's true camp.
Yes.
Like I said, I think a few episodes again, that Beyonce where she's farting into her hand for absolutely no reason. Why? That's funny though. That's so funny.
Yes, and everyone knows that I love the Natural Woman lip sync. I love it more than anything. You know? And so that's where I'm like, they don't see that that's funny.
Yeah.
They see any hole as a goal. They see get those nuts away from my face. They don't really, Drag Race doesn't really get, and that's why, yeah, I think they need a clean house. They can't. I understand the politics of why they can't, right? The show's been together for 17 years. They're like a family. And it would be basically getting rid of your entire family, right? But yeah. All right, well, let's call it a day there. Robert needs to get on the road and drive back to see his boyfriend.
Well, actually, first, I haven't had time this weekend, but I'm going to watch the last week's episode, The Makeover, with my mom, because I've been telling her about it, and she wants to watch it with me.
Oh, that's right.
So right after this, we're going to have a cute little mom and gay son moment.
All right, sounds good. And then we'll see you. Now, next week, if you thought we had nothing to talk about this week, just wait till next week when it's the Lollapalooza. But maybe we will, because
with these girls.
Yeah. It could be either really bad or just mid. I think I'm going to go towards mid.
I think it's going to be mid, but I'm going to try to watch it at a bar in public so that that will amplify the experience.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea. See if I can swing that. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Oh, never heard that part before. I've never heard this part before.
Are you sure? I feel like it's every week.
Well, no, the part where that extra like synth chorus comes in. Anyway, all right, bye guys.
Ding.
Ding, 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 ding.